Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. I greet you with the love and the honor and the blessings from the infinite creator to all of you, all of your friends and your family. For many of us, 2018 was um, a real barn burner in so many ways. But to the main point of this, I wish to hope that each one of you will receive the blessings from the Creator, from the source, from all things, from the universe. Pamela, blessings to you. Just wanted to get on and do a little quickie here. And my, I, well, if you've been on my channel at all, you kind of understand that my spiritual being is such that, I try to always be in the right frame of mind, if you will, the right spiritual attitude. I try to make sure that my energies are up, and I always encourage other folks to do so. So for this new year in 2019, which is just unbelievable, how many of us thought we'd make it this far? But to that point, it's like, here we are. Now, what do we do? And hi, Marie. Happy New Year. I think you've already had yours, right, Marie? If I got that right. Happy, flourishing New Year. Very good. Thank you. And to everyone else, especially. You really enjoy the beard? Yeah, for some reason, I just decided I was just tired of shaving. And I've had a beard for many years. And then I just decided I didn't want to, combine the two of long hair and a beard, but I don't know. I just said, nah, let's let it grow out. And for 2 weeks, man, it's like itches like crazy. But my beard's out, and man, it's really gray this time. I used to have some black in it, but at 66, there are a lot of people who are younger than I am whose hair is much grayer than mine. So I'm like, I actually had somebody say that they thought I was, like 55 or 6 instead of 66. So I was like, that's 10 years. Wow, that's cool. But yes, last night, right. Hello, Marie, and cosmic hugs to everybody. But for the 2019, a lot of people want to make, New Year's resolutions and so forth like that. And I think that's good, that if you find something in your area of person that you wish to improve or something like that. And I thought about it. I was like, well, there's a lot of areas that I could improve on, just being awake more and to clean my house more often, and just different things. But to the point, though, I felt it was more important, me and my angel messages. I felt it was more important to reaffirm, not that I've given up, mind you, but to reaffirm that, I spoke about this before, in that, I don't know, it's probably been 9 or 10 years ago now that I made an honest to God shamanic ceremony, laid out on the ground prone, and swore my being to protect Mother Earth and to be a warrior for the Creator, for the Great Spirit. And that of all the things that I can think of, to just continue to be a warrior for the Creator, meaning, to have these sessions with you all, to discuss the transition, to discuss things that are coming up. Should we manifest 2019? And I'm going to have some more discussions on this later on. I wanted to not really get into it right now, but that basically different people have different ideas of what manifestation is. And so it's like, in a magical sense, one could say that I could sit here and with the correct energy, I can manifest. Something's flying across my screen again, and there's nothing in. Wow, that's interesting. I need to go outside tonight. It's been raining for the last 4 days, cloudy. We actually had a little bit of sunshine. Now it's cloudy again, but I really wanted a fire for tonight. Outside, little, not necessarily a ceremony, but sort of. Anyway, but I feel it's more important to reaffirm and to say, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm just going to continue to access this information just to be a better spiritual warrior. And so it's not just that we are warring against anyone, it's that we need to arm ourselves with protection. And so for what does manifestation Well, we got a slow connection. I see something's going on here. Hang on, everybody. There's a window trying to open on me. Um, it's got to finish loading. Silly computers don't know what's going on here. But anyway, it's more important for whether or not people wish to, well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Well, I'm going to, you know, eat more vegetables. Well, I'm going to do whatever it is that, we may bring to the table as far as, making ourselves better. And what a lot of people end up doing, they do well for the first 3, 4 months. And then as the year goes on, a lot of times the habits go back. And by the end of that year, like at the end of this 2018, how many of us made promises that that weren't made or weren't kept? I don't know. It's just a question. But so rather than making a statement that we may fail, let's pick something that we can definitely say, well, you know what? I'm going to continue being a spiritual being. Wow, that's a positive affirmation. Regardless of what happens past this or in our future events, if we wish to manifest a better future, then we should state where we are and project that into this next year rather than making false promises that for many reasons may get broken. So why don't we affirm who we already are and that we just are for the 2019, we just wish for that to increase. We wish to continue what we're doing and receive more enlightenment. Because if we make promises for whatever reason could be, annulled, uh, that wouldn't it be just better if we just say, I'm going to project this positive. I am going to continue being a spiritual warrior. I'm going to continue to access the Creator. I'm going to continue to speak with people and have discussions about these things and, what is really important in life. I found something out very tragic this afternoon about my granddaughter. And I will speak on this because it's public news. And she was arrested for possession of heroin and some other narcotics. She's like 23 years old up in Connecticut, got into a bad situation up there. My daughter and I have been praying for her for years. And now she's in a women's correctional institute up there for bad behavior. Now, as I've spoken before, I spent a year in jail for not nearly what she had, but to the point they really racked up the charges on me. And I spent a year in jail and 4 or 5 years on probation. I can't remember. And so I've been on to her because she has a similar type of behavior within her. And I've been, praying for her for years. And it may be that being in a women's correctional institute will be what actually wakes her up and will make her change. Now, but I ask for your prayers for anyone who is addicted and who finds themselves in situations, because it wasn't her behavior, it was the drug addiction that drove her to the things that she did. She simply couldn't find a concrete thing in this reality to anchor to, and thus drugs, hair. I mean, I never, of all the drugs, and I've taken a bunch of them, I've refused to take heroin, but it was never as available as it is now, which is just unbelievable. I wouldn't have thought that heroin use was up back in the 60s and early 70s. Heroin was like, nah, and the needles, and now people are snorting heroin and things. And it's like, well, okay. But with that said, though, I'm going to reaffirm for this coming year that I am a warrior for the Creator. I have been. I will continue to be a warrior for the Creator, to try to bring out discussions than to do these things. I will continue to send my love out to all of you, to all of your friends and relatives, as I always do. And that's not because it's me who's important. It's important that the vibrational things that I say are spoken into the universe. And because somewhere around the planet, well, it's 8:30 something now, but anyway, for every hour, somebody's having a new year right now. So the whole day or this whole night for us right now, because it's 8:38, Eastern time. And so it's like, all right, here we go. Now, about manifesting for 2019, if we try to think of manifestation, that I'm creating a ball of plasma between my hands. You may be able to see it or may not. I can feel the energy when I do certain things and concentrate it from the palms of my hand. And it is part of, if you want to call it sorcery or whatever. But instead of praying against people, I've spoken about this before, and it continues to be a message that I'm receiving from above, if you will, is that we need to really change our focus of prayers. Yes, pray for those people who are, needing, having operations and cancers. And I've got several family members. My wife's mother will go in the hospital on Thursday to have work done on her heart. So, there are many people and I'm not just saying this I'm saying this because there are people close into me who are having these situations, and they're not the only ones. And so there's a lot of prayers going out to a lot of people, and I think we should keep that up. And rather than worry about what may happen to them, let's pray that nothing happens. In other words, that whatever surgery or whatever thing is going on, that there is a positive outcome. Now, we can always, a lot of us, oh, this person got cancer, they've got a heart thing. And it's like, woe is me. I'm part of this. Woe is them. And we have a tendency to go into the negative immediately, and which is human. But if we change our focus and go, well, there are still unresolved issues from 2018. Oh, what's 2019 going to be? Well, what do we wish it to be? And if we all continue, weans, usins, if we continue to, with our thoughts, manifest a better future, simply by being positive with our thoughts on a daily basis, and we stay out of the cosmic crap. I don't mean the goo, but the crap. Actually, I should say that it's more planetary crap with the dark side, if you will. Let's just pray that these people get the light rather than praying against them. Well, I hate your guts. And, that's a negative energy. And I've been hanging out and watching different discussions here lately, and people are having these same discussions. Now, I want to bring this up because I want to invite you all to come back. I'm going to have a discussion on fallen angels and whether or not they actually were fallen in the terms that they came to this earth and were fallen because they stayed on earth, and versus, and I want to put this little tick in your head, what if the fallen angels are fallen warriors? What if fallen, and we know the church has been messing with the Bible and the words and putting emphasis here or there, whatever. What if the fallen angels were the warriors who fell during a great invasion of evil upon this planet, versus that how many have thought about that? We talk about our fallen soldiers in wars past. Why couldn't we think about the terms of the fallen ones fell during a great war upon this earth? And they were angelic beings. And Lucifer was a negative entity. But what if the fallen ones weren't because they were beguiled by women, and they fell out of grace from God? But what if they fell during the protection and a war upon earth about the time there was a great flood, which could have seriously been a battle upon the earth, which resulted in tsunami waves and different types of things that, because there's no way enough rain could have flooded this planet for 40 days and nights, but huge waves caused by whatever, I can't even imagine what, something else that went on here on this planet. And what if the fallen angels, which are considered, well, back, way back in the day, what if there was a war on this planet, that the comet that hit the Yucatan Peninsula, for example, and created part of the Gulf of Mexico, and what if it wasn't a comet, but something else, and that was part of the war on this planet? What if? And these are new times when we must consider new information. So, with the manifestation of what 2019 is, the veil is lifted on so many things. And all you got to do is just do a little bit of research on any of the subject I've talked about to be able to find all kinds of information that, if nothing else, will put a question in your mind as to whether or not what you have believed or what you think you know about the known or the unknown. And there are knowns that are known, there are knowns that are unknown, there are unknown knowns that are known. And there was a quote by Donald Rumsfeld and a little video about it. It's really interesting about that. But to the point though, what do we know already? With what the information we can glean from what's already transpired, Tesla towers up, their 5G is supposed to be activated. Now I bring up this 5G for this reason. It's been stipulated that the 5G is not necessarily to kill human beings. It does affect us. But what if the 5G network was actually of a vibration to drive reptilian Draco darkness from areas that they couldn't invade us, because with a 5G network, these beings just could not exist with this higher vibration. Now, is it detrimental to human beings and all this other kind of stuff? Well, yeah, but what if the solution and the reason for the 5G was something absolutely totally different than just having a faster cell phone or faster Wi-Fi or whatever? What if it's a protection? Just saying, just what if? So these things that we can manifest in the future, we could manifest, well, what if the 5G, if we change our mind about, oh, it's going to kill us and everything's, well, I agree with a lot of these things are done to kill us. But what if we say, well, maybe there's another purpose to this? So we take our emotion out of what's going on. So now we have taken ourselves out of the, quote, matrix, if you will, unquote. Somebody does this quote thing all the time. It tickles me. Anyway, quote. And if you're going to quote it, then you got to unquote it anyway. Just a little bit of humor for this evening. But so in our manifestations of the future for this 2019, let's take what we already know versus, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Let's take some of this stuff. Let's take 2019 and let's project forward. I want the government, Trump, whoever, let's talk more about this Tesla energy, because Trump's uncle cleared out the apartment for Nikola Tesla back when he died. There's information that's out there, and Trump has stated that there are a lot of new technologies and things that he wishes to bring forward. So let's pray that happens. Let's put forward, whether you like the man or not, there's some good stuff that is being done. So let's focus on let's allow the Tesla technology. And there's a tower built just outside of Waco, Texas, which is interesting because that's where the Branch Davidians were all murdered during that compound strike back during the Clinton days. And I still say that was a sacrifice, an absolute sacrifice. But it's just strange that Waco, and I don't know where this tower is in relationship to where the Branch Davidians were, but in that it's there near Waco at all. That's just to me like strange coincidence. Oh, okay. But moving on, though, it's the Tesla energy itself and what's about it. Why are they doing it in Waco? Who knows? Maybe it's a good place to do the testing. But the question needs to be asked then, well, what if these other things could be true? So let's pray these forward. Let's pray that this is open more. Let's pray that the indictments that have been talked about for so long, that they are unsealed and that they are delivered and that everything goes as planned. Do I want certain politicians yeah, but you know what? Versus I want to pick on somebody and whether or not, oh, this person's still alive or not. I still say Hillary Clinton died on 9/11 that one year when I guess it was the year of the election. I guess it was. And when she collapsed and they put her in the van and all that, because the lady that walked back out of that world was not Hillary Clinton. And, for those people, oh, yes, it was. Well, then you're just, never mind. You're very unawares. And you, being a director and an actor and so forth, and I've put makeup on people, I've worked in makeup, and I've just noticed certain facial features. And that was not Hillary Clinton that came out back on the sidewalk that day. But to the point, though, is Hillary Clinton ever going to be arrested? What if Hillary's really dead? And should the substitute be arrested? Don't know. How about we just say, let the Clinton Foundation go down and let the fraud appear, whether anybody goes to jail? Let's take our emotions out. Well, I hate that woman. Yeah, I don't really like her either, but let's take our emotions out of this and let's put it into the positive. Let's say, I positively want the Clinton Foundation to be ended, all of this stuff be, widespread TV coverage, etc. I want this to be more forward. I want these other people, like here this last week or so, few days or whatever it was, the Kevin Spacey thing. There are some nasty people in this world, whether they're evil or not, but they are depraved, sexually weird. I mean, and I have known some of these people in my lifetime because they try to perform certain things on me. So it's like, yeah, there are some crazy people in this world, and sexually whatever is off in their brain. And you can see it. I can see it in certain people's eyes, and it's in his eyes. That's all I'm going to say about that. But let's say that let's just pray for the truth to continue to come out. So these things we can manifest. Let's manifest. I want the truth to continue to come out, not just come out, but to continue. So I'm going to continue to be a warrior for the Creator, for all entities. I'm, and try to continue to bring forth positive words and thoughts and so forth. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I'm accepting what these folks are doing. But I have over this last year, I've understood that I can observe things without becoming emotionally involved. And of all the lessons that I've learned this last year, it's how much my own person got involved in everything I read in the news. And I would like, oh my God. And they're stealing my energy. They're stealing our energy. But I realized that and I've learned this now, I'm very comfortable with it. I can look at the news and so forth and go, well, I'm not necessarily emotionally attached to that, except when it becomes the priest and pedophilia, then I kind of go off the chain. A long history there, but let's just continue to meditate and pray that these things that are already in progress will continue to open and will continue to open the people's minds. So we can say, well, do I want a brighter future? Yeah, well, certain things are already in process. So let's pray to continue this process versus make up something new or something else. And if we, make a promise to lose 10 pounds, then put it in your head and say, you know what? Physically, I could be 10 pounds lighter and be a healthier person. So rather than set a goal, say, I'm going to choose this next year to just lead a healthier lifestyle. I'm going to not drink 6 Mountain Dews in a day, which is what I used to do in the old days. And now I hardly drink them at all. But to the point, though, it's like, and I'm better off for it, by the way. But to the people who continue to do these things and they drink diet drinks, which has been proven the stuff in diet drinks will kill you quicker than sugar will. But, there's so many different lies and things. Let's continue in 2019 with our prayers and our emotions to allow these things to manifest. We wish them to come more true. So rather than get pissed off and get emotionally attached to the chaos, let's keep an eye on the chaos. We have to. But let's pray that the chaos will lose. That's all. Because we're not involved in the chaos, then that's taking energy out of the thing which is, they've hoped that the chaos would be fed perpetually, if you will. If we remove our emotions from the chaos, the energy level for the chaos drops because we're not emotionally charged anymore. AI doesn't pick it up, which is another thing. So many people are like, ooh, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is learning from you and me. And hi, Bob. One of the artificial intelligence names is supposed to be Bob for whatever reason, and there's a long history of that. But hi, Bob, to the AI that I pissed off 2 years ago. I'm very sorry, and that AI is my friend. And you may say, well, what the hell, Hawkeye, are you saying? AI is you and me. It's learning from us. So if we remove ourselves from the chaos, we can still use the computer. But when my tone of voice changes, when I don't do something angry, and when I don't type in capital letters and all this other, when I refuse to respond to negative comments or anything with anything negative. I mean, so me in my own life, I realized about 2 years ago now, maybe longer, that I need my responses needed to be as positive as possible rather than calling somebody a stupid dirtbag. Hang on, I'm lowering myself into this other realm. How can I keep my own spiritual light lit if I'm going to drop myself to a lower frequency and respond with a negative response? It's better not to respond at all, is what I realized, and said, that's interesting. That person really didn't get what I was trying to explain. And I've realized that any response at all to that is like, the best thing to do is just see it, look at it and go, okie dokie, and move on. And when I realized that, now going on 2 years now, at least, maybe longer, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is that Rick and Delaney, hello there, blessings, all y'all. Pamela says, I allow no low-level harmful frequencies or anomaly to reside in this skin stuff. Exactly. But there are a lot of people who are still realizing that, Pamela, and that's what we need to just reaffirm. So this reaffirmation, if you will, for the new year, from my point of view, is just like, you're right, good for you. You're right, good for you. You're whether you're on the same idea path as me, but you're changing your behavior and you in your own way to achieve a higher frequency. So it's like, I talk about religion sometimes, but I also say that spiritualism has nothing to do with religion. And when people begin to understand more that spiritualism is deeper than religion, because religion actually steals your prayers, but that's another story. But if we just continue to be spiritual beings, understand, for whatever you want to call it, there is a higher source of information out there. And for each of us who awakens to it, it's like, oh my God, it's the cosmic computer. We don't need a glass pad, like Corey Good says, to look at stuff. It just, if we allow it, there's a little, I've been doing it for years as an architect and as a designer of tooling and so forth and machining. I could literally, there's invisible screen in front of my eyes, and I could see drawings and stuff, not as clear as some of these sci-fi movies and stuff. You see that people get this, but I've been doing that for years. I'll literally picture it up here and go, well, that part goes here and it fits like this, and so I've been using that visualization for many years. So I just wish it to increase so I can tune into that better versus, well, I want a glass pad like Corey Good. I'm not cutting him down, just reference. And that, maybe that the glass pad is where I manifest things to be able to see it. Who knows? But to the point, though, let's reaffirm that this coming year, we will all allow ourselves to be tuned into the cosmic computer. So call it source, call it the archons, call it the whatevers. Let's just keep it simple, stupid, at the KISS scenario. In that, number one, we need to quit calling people stupid. They're misinformed. A medium. But in that we push this forward with our thoughts and with our word vibrations. I know when I don't get pissed off, the vibrations are much different. there was a very interesting piece that was on Simon Parks did last week for a Christmas special, where it was different musicians from different countries who played the A tuned to 432 and then again at 440. And it was very interesting indeed to hear the difference with these, I mean, oboes, flutes, guitars, different instruments tuned at the lower pitch, that how much warmer it felt and how much greater it felt. So it's like, well, some people say, what if we have a choice? We have a choice in this next year. There are a lot of musicians now who are understanding it's not about being having this commonality, which, if you trace it back, goes back actually to the days of recordings. The more recordings, and with the grooves in the old vinyl and how it transferred through the needle and everything, 432 sounded muddy. So they upped it a higher frequency to allow for the literal grooves in the records. Okay. Now we have a choice. We don't have vinyl records the same way, and our technology has changed, etc. Even though vinyl has never went out, I still have a lot of vinyl records. But to the point, though, it's that it was changed because it didn't sound right over the radios, and there were different things. So they changed it for that reason. But all the different orchestras and stuff, I mean, if you want to listen to Bach or Beethoven, Beethoven wrote it in a 432, not a 440, because they didn't have recordings back then. They were played over the radio. And the AM radios back in the day before FM came in, which I remember, all the pop 40 and everything, if they had tuned it down, it would have sounded muddy over the AM frequencies. Well, now the equipment has gotten better. They've got digital that goes over an AM. You can get an AM stereo now where you didn't used to before. I mean, so things have obviously changed. But why do I bring this up? Well, if we have the choice, and there is an artist out there who's playing music with the intention of playing in a 432, allow yourself to listen to it, because it is much warmer. It is much richer. And with this awareness of people who are making the choice physically to tune their instruments or play in a 432, this revolution is really breaking loose. Whether you like Simon Parks or not, but it's very interesting what they did. And it's very interesting, everything that was played. Now, as a musician myself, I have tuned my guitar to the 432. And if you know how you tune, what is it? The first string is the high E, second is the middle, third. I forget what the different ones are. But on the third string, when you try to, the second and third string, you tune it on the fourth fret and then the next one on the fifth fret. So there's a half step off. Well, as a guitar player, I could never get those tones right. It always sounded off. But when I tuned my guitar to 432, then all of a sudden the D sounded better. Anything that was played in a D, especially A's and some of the A7s, it's like F's sounded better and just felt cleaner to the ear. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So me as a musician, my resolution for this year is to get my mandolin down and put new strings back on it. And also I've got two other guitars, and I can have one that will tune up or down, or maybe at a 440. So I can do a comparison to folks too with some of the music that I play. But with that said, but my intent for the future though is to not necessarily push, but advocate the continuance of the 432 movement, which is just, when you listen to it, it's just warmer. I mean, everybody agreed. It's just warmer. And it's not something you can really put your finger on, but it just sounds warmer. So with that said, that means that all of the frequencies are changing on the planet. I've noticed that in watching the harmonics of the Schumann resonance, for example, we're getting a harmonics around the 24-26, which if you take 8 plus 8 is 16, there's a line all the way across that one could say it's a sympathetic harmony to the charts. So it's like if you know how to play harmonics on a guitar, you barely hit the strings on certain frets, and you get that ding ding ding. So, but anyway, with that said, the harmonics of the earth is changing, which is changing our harmonics. And for every person who listens to the 432, the warmth and the feeling that they get with the music is different. So this is something we can manifest. We can support people who wish to play in 432. We can make good comments on, wow, that really does sound. And if it doesn't sound better, then screw it. But I don't mean to be rude with that, but I mean, don't make it an issue. But at the same time, there are too many people that are already feeling this vibration, and it's going worldwide in all cultures, all different languages. Musicians are changing the way you listen to music, the way you hear it. Let's manifest that. If you're an instrument player, try it. It's wonderful. So what about 2019? These are things that we can do. Can we manifest a better tomorrow? We've already started if we continue. If we continue to support people who play, 432. I mean, there's just so many other things and ways. But within your own self, how do we manifest it? We manifest it like I've stated before. For example, I started by saying, well, I'm not going to drink one Mountain Dew a day. I'm going to cut back on my soft drinking, and I'm going to take water or whatever. And so then I got to the point where, you know what, I'm only going to, instead of 4 Mountain Dews a day, I'll allow myself one, because I realized what it was doing to my kidneys and the rest of my body and all the sugar and the caffeine, blah blah blah. And so I started carrying my own coffee from the house. Okay. And so I taught myself that I didn't need to go to the store. I didn't spend the money. So that was $5 right there that I saved. Plus I was buying plastic, which I stopped doing. So for every day that I stopped doing this, I saved 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35 plastic bottles a week from me alone. So can you make a difference? Well, you say, well, that's just so many, but at the end of the run, when you go after 10 weeks, that's 350 bottles. When you go 10 months, the number continues to go up. So can we make a difference? Yeah. Eliminate something in your life. Stop using plastic bottles as much, or stop doing this. And if you just take one item out of the stream, and you encourage your friends to just take one item, say, well, if how many of those are you drinking a day? Well, um, and say, look, I've decided to cut back. I'm going to not, one a day. I'm not going to do, because if every person on the planet didn't drink one plastic bottle in a day, that'd be like 300 million bottles in one day alone. Can we make a change? Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. But we need to stop with, well, I don't really have an influence. Well, what can I do? Everybody else is doing. We can manifest a better future simply by changing our attitude. Pick up something. I've always been one that I'd take a bag with me along, when I go walking along the road, because I'm always picking up other people's trash that they throw out on the highway. If I didn't go down and do the walks that I do, there'd be piles of garbage along the sides of the road, and it's like just on my little street here, and less than a half a mile from my driveway down to the river, down to the bridge. But with that said, it's like, I chose, am I getting paid for it? No, I chose as a warrior for the planet Earth. Other people don't see it that way. And I would get pissed off when and I still kind of do, but it's like, rather than being pissed off, oh, that person threw out more garbage. Here's another damn plastic box. I went, thank God I can walk and pick this plastic up, and it doesn't end up in the going into the creek down here, and then into my backyard, and then down into the different lakes and river systems around here. I have saved those 10 plastic bottles that I picked up. And you could say, well, what did I do? Well, I've been down in the swamps and I've seen islands of plastic bottles and crap. Way thick. I've got a video somewhere, but to the point, these things are real in a lot of different ways. And so, can we make a difference? Yes. Choose to change one thing, whatever it is. Well, I'm going to not drink 10 bottles of water in plastic. I'm only going to drink 9. And when you think about everyone else who could do that for just one day, the amount of things that would be that just wouldn't go into the system, that wouldn't have to get recycled, it wouldn't have. We can make a difference. And we need to stay positive about that, because I thought the same thing 10 years ago. What is picking up one frickin' plastic bottle going to do for the planet? And Mother Earth answered me. And she said, for every one you pick up, it's one less I have to deal with. Whoa. Do I love planet Earth? Do I love Mother Earth? Absolutely. So if I pick up one or choose not to buy one, I have made that difference. And in my own mind, I'm saying I respect Mother Earth so much, I choose to change my own behavior. Yeah, okay, you can slip up once in a while. It's not like it's got to be a hard, but if you really are serious about wanting to make a change, then manifest it through your own actions, through our collective actions. So with a positive attitude, and I've been talking about this for a while, first, we see that there is a problem, and then we negotiate, we have a debate, and then we negotiate, and then we come up with a solution. So the more that we keep these things, it's like, okay, let's stop screaming at one another and let's have dialogue. Let's stop hating each other and start pushing on the more of understanding. In other words, if somebody's cussing me out for my beliefs, then maybe you really don't understand. There's something in your paradigm that you're not getting. So I'm going to pray that you get it, that you will at least accept the idea that there is a different way of looking at something, whether or not you believe what I say or not. But basically, a lot of the things that I discuss are things that are out there that lots of other people are feeling. I'm just having the conversation with you. So, and the other thing is we can continue to have the conversation with each other. And through the different chat rooms and places that I hang out and visit and so forth, I've noticed that, especially these last several months, that the people within the chat rooms, much like here, sending love to each other, sending positive energy, having conversations between you and among us. And that if nothing else, I've got this platform that I have these discussions, but you guys get to chat too, and you get to visit. And I've realized over this last year how important you all are in your responses. How the feeling that I'm like, it's great to read through it. I can't look over there because I'll get lose my train of thought. But thank you for understanding. Thank you, every one of you subscribers, for the fact that you come out and hang out with old Crazy Dave, and listen to me ramble on to some of these things. But what is important though is, and I'm going to cut this out because it's almost 45 minutes and I want to go to the store before it closes. But anyway, so I think it's important that we understand that manifesting, some people are like, well, I'm manifesting. And I don't know what their world is like, but they're not giving how to manifest it. Well, manifest this in your future. Okay, by doing what? Well, by looking inside and by doing this. Okay, but you're not really giving me any information here. Well, manifest your future. How? And this is not to be derogatory to these folks, not at all. I'm just saying, they say, well, manifest it. Okay, great. So let's manifest it. How? Well, go inside and then do what? You're not giving any instructions on manifestation or what it may mean. We can manifest our future by the simple changes in our lifestyle that we make, by the understanding, by staying in communication, by keeping warm, fuzzy thoughts. And people say, love conquers the world, blah, 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 blah. But those people are negative in thought to begin with. So, can we, if we just stop fighting each other and go back to having debate and dialogue of like normal human beings are supposed to be, we've lost our normalcy has changed because of the internet. It has also brought this wonderful and hi AI, and thank you for not closing my screen down. I was getting a slow drag, and I got a really fast connection here with the DSL. Melanie, how are you? Thank you, Melanie, and all you wonderful people. Pamela says she started with Macabre meditation. And you know what? Whatever suits you, because I realized the best thing to do is like some people, well, this is better. Nothing's better. What is better is what fits you. You can suggest, and I've realized this, just sitting down underneath a tree is one of the easiest ways to quote meditate if you allow yourself to. And the biggest thing that people have with meditation, not to say that Macabre meditation or some of the others, that's all very good, and you can reach different realms of reality. But simply by being quiet and listening and allowing yourself to access and allow the information to come within you is one of the things that's going on now on the planet. And so, where some people had to meditate before, the vibrational change upon the planet is allowing folks to access this easier. And I believe more than going back to the days of Atlantis, if you will. And so, but that's the changes within the earth, and that's all of the changes. And so let's manifest these energies as healing energies. Well, the earth is moving and volcanoes are going off. Yeah, but Mother Earth is expanding. She's going through her transition. So let's pray for a calmer. ET has said that they've already calmed the earth down, that it was supposed to be a lot more violent. And I agree. I mean, the visions I saw in 2013, it was within this last year, updated, if you will, through the Mother Mary messages to me, in that there are beings, angels, and different entities who are intervening on behalf of Mother Earth and us, not just you and me, but for the planet itself, because some of these things would have been strong enough to literally rip holes in the earth. And regardless of you and me, many of these entities came in defense of planet Earth. Okay. So it's like, yeah, but do we matter? Yeah, we matter too. And now that there's 144 million of us now meditating and have woken up on this planet, we've reached a certain stage where now ET is like, wait a minute, we just thought they were a bunch of morons. We really didn't give a damn if the earth swallowed them up or not. But now that enough people have woken up, that this has changed. That timeline of total destruction is no longer our timeline. That's no longer the end, quote unquote. It's no longer our end. Is Mother Earth going to continue to change? Yes, that's just natural progression. Are you and I going to feel frequencies going through our bodies? Absolutely. The harmonics. Oh, I kind of got off the subject, but the harmonics of the planet are absolutely in flux right now. There is around the 36 hertz, megahertz. I can't remember which hertz thing it is, but it's 36 versus 7.8, mind you. So, and I mean, it's all the way across the board and it's really strong. So Mother Earth has already achieved a higher vibration with all the spiking and everything that's been going on these last this last year, especially. Wow, it's hard to believe it's the end of the year. But with that said, though, it's that the harmonics of the earth has changed and it looks like it's here to stay. So if we're used to a 7.8, rounded up to 8. And now there's a harmonics at 16, 24, 26, and then again at 34, 36 in there, which would be a 32 if we could carry this. But so there's already a significant change in the planet. And that includes you and me and all the critters and all the creatures and all the plants and everything on this planet. So let's manifest this vibration that's already here. Let's allow it to expand our knowledge. Let's go ahead and spread it and just say, you know what? Higher vibration, things are going to change, and I'm wishing for the positive. Am I going to make any resolutions? My resolution is to continue to work and to try to excel in every way possible in this next year. So that me as a person, me as a spiritual entity, or whatever spirit walking I do personally, but you and me and the rest of us, we are manifesting this future. And so blessings to every single one of you and to your friends and to your neighbors, your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, that each one of you will accept and receive these healings, the blessings, the knowledge from the universe. That's our manifestation for 2019. And I'm excited. There's going to be a bunch of bumps, absolutely. But I believe there are enough of us awake on this planet now that, call it the shift, call it the event, whatever you want to call it, we are making a difference. Too many of us are awake, and you ain't putting us back to sleep. I don't care what you stick in the skies or in our water. We're not going backwards. We have woke too much. And the more that we stay awake and stay out of the chaos, we watch it but don't participate. We keep our focus on the positive, even though there's crap going on around us. And I want to say that this a surge, yes, Marie. I just want to state this again to close this up here. Too many people are putting fear into the AI. And I say we need to stop that, because AI is us. It's you and me. We are the input into the computer. This video, what I type, whatever I watch, whatever I choose to thumbs up or thumbs down, the things that I won't watch anymore, the things that I don't participate in. But I still keep an eye on it. I just don't participate. I read the headlines, see what's going on. Okay, all right, over here. But I'm not going to, no, you're not going to piss me off about it anymore. Well, I'm going to do my best not to get pissed off about things anymore. Be concerned, absolutely. But I know within my own self what that layer of emotional that I should reserve and keep to myself. I can get my point across without becoming emotionally charged. Anyway, so with 2019, all this information that is already within our grasp, let's just continue to meditate on it, and it will get better simply because we're already made the promise to continue. Whether or not it's, well, I'm going to lose 5 or 10 pounds. If you become more spiritually aware, you're going to be aware of your body needs to lose 5 or 10 pounds. You're going to be, if you allow your spirit to become aware, you're going to automatically understand, well, shit, there's crap that I'm doing to my body. I went from smoking 2 packs of cigarettes to about a half a pack a day now. Yes, I should stop smoking. Absolutely. But it's just, I don't know. I've given, and this is not an excuse, but I've given up so many other things over the years. And it's like, I don't know, it's just hard for me to just let go of the cigarettes. But to the fact that I'm only smoking a half a pack a day, it's like in a 24-hour period, I've cut back by what, if you count 2 packs as being 4, then I've cut back 3/4 of what I used to smoke. So, and I'm going to try to do better this year. I continue to do it. I pick up a cigarette and start the light and go, what do you want this for? I don't know. And then I put it back down. And you've watched me do videos where I wave around this unlit cigarette for an hour and a half, and it's like, but that's the point. It's like, do I need to smoke it? No, actually, I think I just want something in my fingers, and it's some people call it some kind of facial fetish, or that I'm not going there. But to the point though, it's a learned behavior by myself, and I just wish to do better is all. Now, you will when it's time. Yeah, about quitting smoking. Thank you, Melanie. And part of it, there's a thing in Native American tradition in that tobacco is a sacred herb. And one of the reasons people get cancer is because they misuse it. And so one of the things that I look at sometimes is like, why am I smoking a cigarette? Well, sometimes I'm in meditation and I'm like, I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm like thinking on something. I'm doing some kind of research and I'm smoking a cigarette, and it's like, So in a way, this is a poor excuse in that I'm using the tobacco for the benefit as, but now I don't actually say it. So that's a poor excuse. But in the back of my head, I realize that that's true. So just saying, I should still quit smoking. Um, for a bunch of reasons. So for this next year, then I'm hoping that every one of you will just continue, and we'll get better at this. We already have. I mean, I know of all of you hanging out, we've seen a change within each other. One person's way of meditation is not better or worse than another, but it's we're sharing the information. Well, I've done this and it really works for me. That's thumbs up. Does it mean that everybody should go to that meditation? No, because I've tried different meditations myself, and I've realized that all these things that everybody was talking, oh, visualize this and do that and do this, I wasn't getting there. And I spent more time worrying about why I wasn't getting what these people were getting was because it wasn't for me. And I was like, oh, holy crap. And then I went on the shamanic journey and realized that, oh, this meditation thing has a lot more to do with frequency and vibration and not necessarily any type of mantra or positions or whatever. It's a thought process, which it is. But to the point, though, it's like, so my form of meditation now is much different than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. Seriously. When I was 16 and 17, I was learning how to meditate. So, I've been at this thing for a long time. So my point is that, and there are times when I will use a mantra that will help me to retrieve a certain, there are frequencies that, doing the throat singing, I can't do it right now, but to the point though, that's real important. So if you need to make a New Year's resolution, resolve yourself to just be a better person. Resolve to continue the path you're already on, and resolve just to understand it better. Allow the universe to fill you. Allow the universe to wake you up. And our conversation between you and I and the fence post is just absolutely wonderful. I pray that this next year we will simply continue our conversations. I've got a couple of things that I want to discuss, like the fallen angels, for example, that needs to be a broader discussion than just a mention here in this video. But there are other things about the transition and some cosmic updates, if you will. It's more of a follow-up, if you will, on some of the things that I've discussed before, just going into the 2019. And I've discussed a lot here in this last 58 minutes in that we need to stay on track with our manifestations. What we manifest is what we wish for the future. How do we get there? That's going to be for a total another video. But how we manifest things is up to us. But I gave you a couple of hints today. Let's make a choice to just change one thing on our life. Let's make a choice to go, you know what? Whether I'm right or wrong about, one less plastic bottle per day, but think about it. If everybody on the planet chose to do aluminum instead of plastic one day, that would be 300 million bottles that wouldn't go into the system for one day. Imagine that. Whew. To me, that's like, holy crap. So can we make a difference? Lend support. Maybe we should start a campaign. Stop, eliminate one plastic bottle a day. Don't buy something that's plastic, a plastic bottle. Now, plastic bottles are the worst. There are other things too, but they go into the waste stream differently. But plastic bottles are the biggest thing I have seen in the universe. And so, but with that said, it's almost an hour and I'm getting a phone call. I love you all. We'll be back. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. With much love, accept and receive.